Hey everybody, thought I would do a quick walk around of the Mk4 Roadster that I'm working on from Factory 5. Getting ready to do first start here in just a little bit. Keeping fingers crossed that everything's going to work well. It's been a bit of a scramble, so pardon the mess in the shop. This is a Gordon Levy 408. It's pushing a TKO 600 with a .64 fifth. A couple of things to point out up here. Have the honeycomb style radiator protection that a lot of people have gone with. Keep rocks off of the fins. Boyd Motorsports upper radiator formed hose. We have a Canton overflow. The Breeze lower radiator hose. FF Metals So Fast fan shroud there with a stock fan wired in. MSD ignition. The box for the ignition is mounted behind the engine on the firewall. This is a carb to mechanical fuel pump setup. So kind of went old school with it. It's a Track Warrior 750 carb from Holley. It's hooked up to one of Mk4's mechanical throttle linkages. Really great setup. You actuate the pedal in the foot box and you get a direct mechanical feel for what's happening at the carburetor. Really smooth pedal setup. CNC reservoirs. Glad I got those when I did because they're no longer producing for the brake reservoirs. There's the master cylinders from Wheelwood. This is the Wheelwood pedal box that comes with the kit. The newer pedals. A couple of things I had to do here. This clutch quadrant is an improved quadrant that they had come out with several years ago, a number of years ago actually, and the way it's set up now is stock, according to the instructions. Does a great job lining up the cable. It's a direct line into the clutch quadrant. So it's set up the way it's supposed to be. The problem I faced was the swaged end of the clutch cable was hitting the top of the foot box. So I had to pull out the burr and clearance the foot box so that I could have full pedal travel. You can set this quadrant up a little bit more to the inside, but that brings the cable in at an angle and starts to cause it to fray on the edge of the quadrant there. So kept it as it is, installed a Ford Motorsports clutch cable adjuster. These are Georgie's gas in side pipes here. High quality stuff. It has aftermarket 4x4 headers as well. Very pleased with this setup. Moving on to the cockpit. These are Factory 5's big and tall seats for my big and tall frame. I seem to fit in them pretty well. I also have Factory 5's molded dash with a glove box. Fabricated a center console for some extra switches. These seats are set up with seat heaters, which is what you see, the red and the black wires there. They'll be hidden under the back edges of the carpet. The tires are Nitto 555 G2s. These are 315/35s in the back. We have 245/45s up front on the 17-inch Halibrands from Factory 5. Started on the insulation for the trunk. Haven't finished that yet. Running a dropped battery box in the trunk. So the battery's under the cardboard there for now, just keep things from falling into the terminals. I did fabricate a dropped trunk panel so that you actually have some extra space here above the fuel tank for storage. Normally this floor would be flat across. So it took a little bit of work and fabrication there, but I think it's going to be great to have a little extra room. This is a Moser 8.8 rear end running 355 gears. Couple of things I had to do. Can't really see it from this side, but on the banana bracket on the other side, I had to have that welded into place. The reason being, the axle tubes are larger than stock, so the banana bracket wouldn't fit over the axle tubes. Had to widen out the opening on the banana bracket and have it welded into place. So that worked well. It's a 3-link rear end. Temporarily mounted the gas cap just to get it running. The battery setup, they run to jumper terminals in the cable. In the trunk. And then I have a cutoff switch there. The battery cable runs up the transmission tunnel and to this junction here, which is a pass-through bulkhead junction. So we actually get power through the bulkhead into the behind the dash. And then from there you have leads going to your alternator and starter. Mega fused on the alternator run. These are footbox blowers hooked up and wired in, obviously not running just yet. But that's kind of where it sits right now. I'm hopeful that we'll get first start here in the next hour or so. Keep the fingers crossed that everything works well, and hopefully you'll see a follow-up video of this thing running. Thanks.